Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of a situation going on with Mint Fantome and her community over on Reddit. Now, again, I don't know if this was actually an official community run by her or just a community run by fans, but it seems like recently there's been a little bit of news that people have been discussing on other Reddits, which is essentially, anyone know why Mint Fantome was banned? r/Mint Fantome. It just says it broke the rules. Now, yeah, you can see here as well on the banned subs subreddit. Of course, it's a subreddit for banned subs. It says, yeah, r/Mint Fantome has been banned. r/Mint Fantome has been banned from Reddit. That's it, right? And again, it is pretty interesting to see as to why this is the case, as fans actually go into why this is going on. Now, a lot of people in the comment section saying unmoderated. That's pretty much the rule not to break if you want to keep a sub going, which obviously, yeah, I think a lot of the rules over on Reddit is to keep a sub moderated. Sometimes you can get infested with bots and stuff posting some not very nice links and pictures and all sorts. And again, that ends up to the sub being banned altogether because nobody is there to upkeep it, so Reddit just bans it, right? And I think that is totally an understandable reason. Now, obviously, it seems that below, though, there is someone who is actually a contributor to the subreddit saying, I was a frequent contributor to that sub because Mint is one of my faves, but that sub became oversaturated with lewd art. So much so that Reddit made it an 18+ sub, and anyone who posted in there had that label. I tried to get them to get some moderation and hold it back a bit to get it out of 18+ hell, but I was laughed out of the group by members, and a vast amount of members just wanted open degeneracy there without any moderation. So I just left. I guess all that has led to it now is getting banned. I just post in r/made mint now. It has fewer members, but it has a better Mint fan subreddit in my eyes. So yeah, it seems like there is a separate subreddit which you guys can go to instead, which apparently talks about Mint Fantome in a much, more, I guess, normal, not normal way, but you get what I mean, right? It's less of a lewd subreddit and more so of a just regular VTuber subreddit, right? And again, obviously, it seems like a lot of people have been posting a lot of certain art there of Mint, which is, of course, has kind of become, what is, become now. And obviously, they posted a post there saying, how do we get this group out of NSFW hell? And a lot of people had obviously responded to that. Say tracks and deserves. It said, so r/dokibird, lewd art increase a fake. It said, no, I post a lot in that sub too. And there was a lot less NSFW posts in there. When I was in the r/Mint Fantome sub, it became about 70 to 80% of the posts that were NSFW. That's why it was made 18+ by Reddit, which again, I think is fair enough, right? If you're posting a lot of, art like that there, then of course it is going to be labeled as that. And obviously some communities are fine with being labeled like that, but I think at the same time, it needs to be moderated, right? Especially with the 18+ kind of subreddits and all of that kind of stuff, because again, if it's not moderated, then you can be kind of exposed to some pretty bad content being shared on the platform. And of course, Reddit doesn't want to deal with that, so they just ban the Reddit altogether, the subreddit, sorry. Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough, right? I think it's fair enough. But it seems like there's other subreddits, for example, like the Dokibird one, I feel like is a little bit more better, moderated. And of course, it doesn't seem like the kind of, there isn't the amount of posts there that are being posted, on the Reddit in terms of like lewd art and things like that, right? Who said, last post I made there for 18+, how the sub was in, I was made fun of in r/Mint Fantome, and then they made these posts on another VTuber like this one. Which obviously, yeah, they say, I find it hilarious how the r/Mint Fantome subreddit was accidentally labeled as NSFW, and their response is basically, screw it, it was meant to be. So it seems like this was posted over on r/virtual YouTubers a couple of months ago, essentially talking about the Reddit and saying how it's kind of like pivoted into this like 18+ hell now, which again, I think is okay. Like if they wanted to turn it into that server, that type of subreddit, I think that's fine. But of course, as I said, there needs to be moderation, and I think it needs to be, one of those things that is kind of managed a bit better, but that doesn't seem to be the case, right? People saying, we are okay, buddy hollow, managed to get out of the NSFW label. And yeah, of course, like some people and some communities don't want that. They don't want that label, so they will try their hardest to moderate it and make sure that none of these posts kind of take place over there again. But also some of them, obviously, and it seems like with r/Mint Fantome, they went fully into it. And the thing that ended up getting them banned was the lack of moderation, more so than the art itself being there. Because as you guys know, there is a lot of NSFW servers and things, subreddits that are on Reddit. So it's not like it's not that content isn't allowed, it was due to the fact of that content not being moderated by the moderators there. Because if you don't know how the kind of system of Reddit works, is essentially you got Reddit as the platform, right, at the very, very top, which, you know, hosts all of these kind of subreddits, and then you got the subreddits, which obviously have different individual kind of, you know, topics and whatever. For example, we're on Kurosanji right now, which talks about Neji Sanji stuff, but it seems like they talk more about VTuber stuff as well. But yeah, essentially you have a certain one, for example, like the Mint Fantome one, which talks about Mint Fantome. And then also you have the moderators of that subreddit. They can only moderate that subreddit, and they decide the rules, they decide what goes on, but all of them need to follow the rules of Reddit, which is obviously higher up than them. And the admins and the moderators over at Reddit, as in the platform itself, not just the subreddit, then enforce those rules upon the other moderators, which are then moderating the smaller groups, right? And of course, yeah, if you break TOS or something bad happens or it's unmoderated from those other smaller moderators, then of course it will get banned, it'll get removed or whatever. And obviously there's like a hierarchy to this where essentially, yeah, Reddit, you know, the actual Reddit mods themselves, not like the subreddit mods, the actual Reddit mods will then go in and actually remove it. I think it's more admins, I would say it is. They'll go and remove it and take action against it, not because, not anything to do with the actual subreddit mods themselves. Although, to be fair, they probably could have done more to moderate the server itself, right? People saying, to the mods of this sub, you can get rid of the link to that sub now because there's no reason to keep it there. Which obviously, yeah, I guess so. So this is one of my main problems with Reddit. There's no transparency or accountability for moderators or admins unless a subreddit enforces itself. It enforces it by itself. All moderation actions should need a publicly accessible statement of what rule was broken and how an admin should enforce this. It said, my brother in Christ, the subreddit was taken down because there was no moderation, which, yeah, obviously is 100% the case, right? There has been many wars and things in terms of like, oh, you know, is this subreddit mod like breaking the rules or whatever? Is this subreddit, you know, doing something bad? And you know, how Reddit essentially handle that and how it goes about with like the different rules and whatever. There has been a lot of conflicts behind that, right? Because of course, maybe like the higher up Reddit admin doesn't agree with what the Reddit moderator is saying behind the thing. It's a whole Reddit. Right, of course, you know, we all know the kind of memes and stuff that comes from Reddit moderators, and again, I can't even imagine the people that are kind of behind that, and a lot of them do tend to be kind of egotistical and kind of, yeah, just very main character syndrome-y. Obviously not all of them, obviously some of them are fine, but you know, we all know the kind of stereotypes, I guess, whenever it comes to that. So, of course, it's going to be a little bit backwards and forwards. But yeah, with this subreddit, it seems like there was just no moderation whatsoever. They say we only have conjecture to say that because there's no records and no accountability. They say the sub got downgraded to auto NSFW and eventually closed due to lack of moderation. When people report stuff, the submods have a chance to respond. If they constantly don't respond, like not even clearing the report, that means the sub is effectively unmoderated. Last year, a sub I got a strike because they modded someone for a joke, and that person was interacting with reported posts without taking mod actions because they weren't really supposed to be a serious mod. Subs do get audited sometimes. So yeah, it seems like obviously Reddit do have some kind of control over how much, you know, people are moderating their own servers and whether they're actually paying attention to the reports that are coming in. And if they don't pay attention to the reports that people are putting into them, then of course, you know, it will be taken down or some action will be taken, whether it's a warning or they will ban the subreddit altogether, right? It's either one, and of course, that's just kind of how it works, right? People saying, do you perhaps think the Reddit moderator is a paid position? Moderators are not Reddit employees, they are volunteers, which, yeah, of course, yeah, they're completely volunteers compared to Reddit admins, which are usually paid employees, which obviously cover the entire kind of place, right? So to the mods of the sub, oh, we already covered that one. So yeah, obviously that is essentially why r/MintFantome did get banned, if you guys wanted to know. Again, I think it's a pretty normal thing. I don't think it had anything to do with Mint herself. I don't think she ran the server at all or whatever. It just seems to be a fan-run one, and that happens quite a lot, right? And of course, it seems like this subreddit is the one that is the main one. If you have been interacting on r/MintFantome and you have been kind of, you know, keeping up with things on there, then I think this new r/MadeMint is the one that people are using now. Maybe there's some other ones as well, and there's also like the wider VTuber Reddits as well, obviously like virtual YouTubers and things like that, which obviously people use. But again, apart from that, I think that is essentially where you got to go. Obviously, like we said, yeah, not Minto, what? what even was a sub. It was a normal fan sub without an update for Made Mint. I have no idea where it got banned, and obviously, you know, it was just a normal fan sub. But I do think it was eventually banned because yeah, of the lack of moderation and them not moderating some of the posts and stuff that was going on in there. Even if there was no bad posts, by the way, I think it is literally just due to how active the moderators were. And if they don't respond to certain reports and things, then they will just ban it, regardless of if there is a bad post there or if that report was actually valid or not. It's just more so about whether the fact that they're actually taking in those reports or not. So yeah, that's essentially all there is for this situation. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.